the Trevor Jackson Podcast.
So I want to get into this conversation that NewsNation had. They had a town hall meeting, that's what they called it, with Bill O'Reilly, Stephen A. Smith, and Cuomo was the host, or Cuomo, or whatever the Cuomo family was the host. And the conversations was about government shutdown, the media, and radicalization on both sides, on the Republican side and on the Democrat side. But I want to start it off with what Stephen A. had to say about objectivity.
And when Bill brings up the media, he's absolutely right from this perspective. There's absolutely positively no excuse for a member of the media, I'm talking about a journalist, to take a side. The facts are the facts. Like, I didn't vote for Trump. I'm not the biggest fan of how he behaves. But the fact is that if he's done a good job, give him credit for doing a good job. If he's done a good job here, fine. If he hasn't done a good job there, fine. Call it as you see it, because you have to make sure that the public at large is able to look at you and say that I trust that you believe what you're saying you believe, and that it's based on factual information and not your personal feelings or personal animus. And when you do that, then you galvanize the American people, because they're going to say, okay, I can trust you. And as a result, there won't be a dissipation or a diminished level of trust in the media. What has happened to the media is that, unfortunately, too many people are looking to say things just to be saying things, just to have a particular side, because it gets them paid. Well, guess what? It's damaging to the country.
You know, I feel like a lot of this rhetoric from even independent YouTubers and media and people that speak about things that's important to the masses is getting weird, because everybody is showing a side. You ain't media if you just on there talking and you talking about things the way you view it. You speaking with feelings and emotions instead of speaking with objectivity. I understand what Stephen A. Smith is saying about that, but that is sort of like, should we have censorship? Basically, should we censor people who are not speaking nothing? Because what social media has done is gave a voice to the voiceless. Everybody has a voice, even if you agree or disagree with the person now. Everybody has access to lending their voice to a topic or a discussion or a situation. So what he's saying that a lot of people don't even know what objectivity is, or being objective when they speaking about a topic at hand. Because everybody I see is trying to like expose individuals, or, talk negatively about a person, or what they're against, or whose side they're on and whose side they ain't on. When I speak, I try to speak to the best interest of the whole. Not try to be negative about nothing, but speak to what I see. Just give what I see, not how I feel. Real talk, man. The first thing that caught my attention during this debate, though, after the objectivity in media, because that's important, man. Think about that. Like, why you like certain individuals? Why do you pick a side? It got to be, picking a side, to me, it got to be some sort of benefit in it for you. You got to been done sold yourself to this side because they took care of you, or you're in agreement of how they conduct their business. It has to be something, instead of prioritizing the whole. When you objective and you independent in your thoughts, and you can think for freely about how you feel about things, you'll never pick a side, because no side has nothing to offer you, really. So objectivity in media, I think it's a good thing, but I think it could be borderline like trying to control what people say. Back to it, though. Let's get to the next topic. It was an air traffic control operator that was the first person that they allowed to speak out of the crowd. And Kumo asked him a question, and this came from the question.
Sure. Give us your name, Jack. Well, I just did that for you. Tell us where you're from, and what's your question for O'Connor?
Hello, my name is Jack Chris, and I'm from Dallas, Texas, and I'm an air traffic controller for the Federal Aviation Administration. Been there 16 years. I've also been through the Obama shutdown and also the Trump shutdown in the previous. And my question is, under the current political climate, do you think that this shutdown could actually be longer than the previous shutdowns due to the external pressures, political pressures that we're having an effect right now? Because I am actually driving DoorDash when I get off work just to kind of make sure I can pay for my daughter's tuition.
Well, Jack, first of all, thank you for being here. Thank you for making it clear this is not a game.
No, it's not.
There are people like you who aren't going to get paid, aren't getting paid.
True.
There are troops. I was talking to the mom of someone who served in the Army, and she didn't know until the president figured out how to jigger the funds whether she was going to be able to pay for her kids' groceries. So one of the things I think Senator Manchin said that I agree with is, why is it that every member of Congress and senator isn't locked into the Capitol complex until we get a deal?
Right.
They ain't locked in there because they don't give a damn. They still getting their check. Y'all deal with it. Real talk. To me, he didn't answer the man's question. The man asked him a specific question. He's talking around the question. The question was, how long do you think this, can it be longer than, the previous ones, because he's experienced ones before? I just read a little article saying that they will receive partial payments on October the 28th. This thing has been going on since October the 1st, and people are working and not working for the United States, working for the federal government without receiving a dollar. Man, it's hard to go to work and get paid right now in the world. People ain't happy about getting paid and going to work. So imagine going to work and not getting paid. It's crazy to me. But, he spoke about things that wasn't pertaining to the question. But to me, I feel like the narrative that people been putting out on social media is that, why are you living paycheck to paycheck? It's people that make $1 million a year that's living paycheck to paycheck. It's NBA players that's getting $100 million contracts, making $30 to $50 million a year, or upwards more of 50, and living paycheck to paycheck. It's not smart. It's people that's making $12 an hour that ain't living paycheck to paycheck. It's based upon your wants, your needs, and how you conduct yourself with your finances. Real talk. And it ain't your business to be concerned about somebody else who is living paycheck to paycheck. Real talk. Because you ain't assisting them in no kind of way. If you assisting a person, then it's your business. But if you ain't assisting a person, why do you actually care? If they're living paycheck to paycheck, people got responsibilities out here. The price of living is through the roof. You go to the grocery store, you spend $100 on a bag and a half of groceries, and you're done eating that shit in a day and a half. So it's different out here. Cabs, Ubers is $50. Haircuts is $50, $60. All the necessities is through the roof. You can't get a clean bottle of drinking water for under $5. Real talk. So being concerned with somebody who's living paycheck to paycheck is, kind of disrespectful. But man, I hope that, the government get open soon. And I don't want to see people struggling. It seems like in this country, the people aren't prioritized. And they haven't been prioritized in a long time. From Bush to Obama to Trump to Biden, back to Trump. The people haven't been prioritized, and I think something like catastrophic is going to have to happen for the people to be prioritized. Sort of like COVID. People's bodies start having to be dropping for them to actually show that they even cared about people, instead of sending trillions and billions of dollars to other countries and not caring about the people of your country. His question got answered, though. Let me play the lady who answered the question.
Dr. Jack, thank you for your work. I talked to regional air traffic controllers. I'm from the Philadelphia region, and we also have Reading Regional. We have some other regional airports. I talked to an air traffic controller. I have been to the tower. You guys are so dedicated. You work long hours, high stress, and I know with this shutdown, some of your support staff have been furloughed because they're non-essential. We are asking the world of you, and you keep the skies safe. Is it possible? Yes. Is it possible that this goes longer? I came in 19. I was sworn in the longest shutdown in government history under Trump administration 1. 35 days. I met with air traffic controllers. They were doing garage sales to make sure, selling stuff out of their houses to make sure they could feed their families. It is absolutely irresponsible. Why are the Republicans not here negotiating?
The Trevor Jackson Podcast.
You know, that was interesting, man. That lady was standing firm in her business, and she called out the Republicans. You know, I'm independent. I don't pick a side. But in this government shutdown, Republicans, you know, they've been showing their true colors. Democrats, they've been showing their true colors. In the divided states of America, we haven't been united on nothing. In the divided states of America, we haven't been united on nothing. So I feel like they need to get this together, real talk, because it's important, that job, and a lot of these jobs that's being neglected and the people whose pay is being neglected, they do a job that's important. Keep the skies safe. That's what she said that stuck out to me. This is absolutely irresponsible to be having people working and not getting paid, doing things for the government for free. You know, back to the keep the skies safe topic and fault. You know, people are riding planes every day. I don't know how many people get on a plane every day, but it got to be in the hundreds of thousands when I look at these, how packed these airports is in just one specific city. Our air traffic controller is mandatory. Like, not just for the citizens, but even for the people that's in politics. Why would I want the leader of the country, even Trump, even if you don't like him, why would you want the leader of a country leaving, flying out, and the person who was, you know, controlling the air and the traffic in the air not getting paid? Why would I want to get on a plane and the person that is protecting, letting me know is not getting paid? They still got to come to work. They still got to care. They still got to be cautious. They still got to be thoughtful. When they could be mad and just be laying back on their phone, chilling, and whatever happens, happens. This is a very irresponsible situation that the people in government is showing. And they leaving the responsibility on people that is not getting paid. Your life is in the hands of somebody who is not getting paid. And the government who you pay your taxes to is making this decision. That is foolishness.
There it is.
I'm trying to be very respectful to everybody because they deserve it.
Why?
Let me say that. No, because you deserve it. But let me say this. I don't think Washington understands how ticked off we truly are. Think about the conversation that we're having right now. You brought up the single-payer system, emulating Canada. You know, we're looking at a president that just gave $20 billion to Argentina. We're hearing about or witnessing what I consider to be a retribution tour. And even though to some degree I don't blame him because of how people went after him, still it appears to be counterproductive. We're listening to this kind of stuff while a young man walked up to the microphone and said that he had to leave here to go and work on DoorDash to help pay for his daughter's tuition. Meanwhile, everybody up here getting paid. But he ain't. This is this kind of stuff right here. That's how you know, and I'm not accusing any of you directly or personally of feeling this way. I'm just talking about the apparatus that is Washington, the nation's capital. This is why you have so many Americans, excuse my language, so pissed off at Washington, because somehow, some way, you get to have these conversations, engage in specific elements of it to talk about what we need to do to get things better. Our debt is $37.8 trillion. Somehow, some way, the taxpayer's been paying this, been throwing money, because we all look at our check, and it's been going to the government. And somehow, some way, you're supposed to be doing something constructive and productive enough to make sure that we don't have that kind of deficit. It isn't happening. A government shutdown is going on right now. A man has to work on DoorDash when he's really an air traffic controller, right, that we applauded. And we're up here talking about how much some money is going to cost. And the only person that don't have a check coming is him. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to take a break.
All right. We'll go to the audience.
Hey, you know what's crazy? Stephen A. a fool, boy. I can see how the player haters hate Stephen A. though. Because that was theater. That was straight theater. That was straight entertainment. He brought the entertainment aspect. He went, took him a break. He thought he had a drop the mic moment. But what he said was valuable. You know, we pay taxes, man, to the leaders of this country to make the best decisions for us and for the country. This is a question I pose to y'all. Do y'all think y'all tax dollars go to the best interest of the country and you? Majority of our tax dollars don't even go to anything that we even interested in. Real talk. We ain't interested in funding Ukraine. We ain't interested in funding Venezuela. We ain't interested in none of that. We want all people to eat. And when I say all people, I mean all the Americans that identify as America and will go to war and die for America. Real talk. Black, white, whatever. If your interest is this country and the best interest of this country, then, you know, your tax dollars ain't going to what you feel like is best for us and best for you. No cap. I don't feel like that. And Stephen A's point was good. That was a real good point. But the people up there that is making the decisions are still getting paid. Hey, salute to Stephen A. Smith, man. You know, they try to label a lot of black things radical. The Black Panther Party. So many things that was created. Black Lives Matter, radical. A whole bunch of things. These folks are radicals. But, you know, they don't talk about themselves and the radicals that's a part of their party. Because when I look at the division in the country, the Republicans and the Democrats just look like corporate Crips and Bloods. Blue and red. You the ops instead of us being united. It come from the top. If you want unity in your community, if you want unity within the race, it come from the top. You know, I felt as if Trump would have been a better president than Kamala Harris because the things that was hidden during the Biden administration needed to be exposed. And Trump exposing them. And people are exposing themselves. But in the divided states of America, the top has to show unity to expect the bottom to act right. The leadership ain't showing unity, then how you going to expect the people at the bottom to show unity? The rhetoric that's being spewed, if it's theater and entertainment, like what Trump is doing, and he is like in the media, he is like a poster. He's posterizing. He's everywhere. He's making decisions. He's an old man that is, I never seen a president this much. And just this active. And just here, there, stopping wars, doing this, bringing the guards over here, talking crazy about this, making decisions, penning stuff, penning bills. The big, beautiful bill he done so much in these 9 months. I ain't never seen a president this active. But I want to talk about the radicalization on both sides. I want to play a clip of this young guy who spoke about that on NewsNation. But before I play the clip, I want to talk about, you know, the Charlie Kirk situation. That was on the Republican and the conservative side. That was on y'all side. The Democrats, they got, they protesting and rallying, and this no kings thing is going on right now while I'm recording this. People are just all over the place, and they very radical.
This dude was a far-right neo-Nazi who had anti-Semitic messages online. I think that there's an undercurrent of radicalization that's stemming from a few things. As a 23-year-old, I lived through COVID during my most formative years, and I was able to rebound and have a social life, but a lot of young people didn't really get to rebound. Imagine having this bubble up around you during COVID, and you never really get to pull that bubble down, so you get sucked deeper and deeper down these algorithms online. Those algorithms are then, incentivized to push the most outrage, whether it's foreign bots like Russia and Iran trying to get people outraged, or domestic actors. I think Elon Musk's Twitter feed, for example, is disgusting and could radicalize a lot of young people. I disagree with the idea that violence disproportionately comes from young progressives. It is uniquely up this year, but if you look at any polls, according to CSIS, political violence overwhelmingly comes from the right. These mass shootings come from the right. And when it comes to the leaked text messages that came out 24 hours ago, I don't think it's fair to say there's an undercurrent just on the left. I know what you mean, but there's also an undercurrent on the right. There is something deep and dark boiling inside the GOP, and it's like the Nick Fuentes faction of the GOP. You can't deny that this is boiling when we got these leaked texts 24 hours ago. I do not like when people are characterizing these as kids in college. These were grown adults. Some of them were 32 years old. One of them was a state senator from Vermont. Today, we saw an Ohio aide with a swastika in the back. I would never claim that this is representative of an entire party, but I do think there's an undercurrent of radicalization on both sides.
And what's going to be done about that? Who actually cares about that and want to see change in that and from that? I think that the radicalization is being prompted up and being promoted and being funded and supported by certain individuals. Now, I want to close that conversation off with saying that that was a great discussion. I feel like if y'all are concerned about the country and want to hear conversation between both parties, y'all should check that out. And, go check out NewsNation's Town Hall debate. What I want to say in closing, though, about that is that Bill O'Reilly, I didn't play none of his talking points in his clips, though, but when that young guy got through speaking that I played the clip to, Bill O'Reilly asked him a question that caught my attention, and the guy couldn't answer it well. He said, "Where do you get all your information from?" And that's important, because if you're getting it from CNN, Fox News, MSNBC, who is your source? That is a great question, because when you speak about things in your source, these folks could be swaying you to believe a thing in a way that's really not reality if you don't know who the actual source is, because these platforms aren't the source. The people that they talking about is the source. So that's why it's valuable to be objective, because you ain't speaking directly to the source. You don't want to talk bad about something because you seen an article or you seen a headline and you didn't dive deep into the information to be able to understand it, or you don't know the person. You ain't the source. So your talking points is just talking points. Great conversation.
The Trevor Jackson Podcast.